Hi. Hello. My name's Theresa Sokyrka, and this is episode 31 of The Sit Down.
Well, I want to let me start by congratulating you. Holy shit, I've seen you like on CTV News and CTV News and CTV News, and I've seen you. No, I've seen you on everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. Like it's been a long hiatus for me for 7 years since I last released. So the CTV family for me has always just been endless and just always like kind of rocking there for me for my career, just to help me whenever I can. So it's so like I'm so overwhelmed all the time whenever I do anything because they're so supportive and just help me get my word out. But this latest release of Our House on Spotify is a whole different thing for me because I feel finally like I'm getting out of the business that I once knew and am like stepping into the 2020s. I've kind of thought to myself that, normally we say that hindsight is 2020, but I think like foresight is 2020 for me right now. Like I lost my job to COVID with the Sastel Jazz Festival and the Nutrient Children's Festival. And it's just been such an unbelievable grief-stricken time, like watching how this virus is affecting this industry that I've been a part of for almost 17 years, like it's so heartbreaking. And I think that we're all like collectively grieving. But in this weird kind of sense, for me, I was working these 2 full-time jobs with the festivals and just busting so much time into not creating. And then COVID happened and Jesse Brown kind of said, like, I'm sure you're sitting around doing nothing but worrying. And I was like, yeah, I am. And I don't want to do that anymore. And it like brought me out of my hiatus. So like that was like a huge rant, but I really have, Jesse Brown is like the biggest creative catalyst for me to come out. And Trevor Case, these 2 people who live in the same city as me, but I never really, the first time I really met Jesse Brown, I was like 20 busking on Broadway in front of the bulk cheese warehouse, man. Like I was so green. And he worked at HEL Music, which I wish I would have worn my t-shirt because that would have been so much cooler. Like he used to work at HEL Music. He's got a couple of years on me. And like he saw me busking years ago. And then here we are like almost 20 years later creating music together. And yeah, it's just been a real trip to kind of be forced to create, to provide, although none of the streams of releasing this tune or anything, it hasn't generated any money. And I think that that's the biggest misconception for people is like, oh, you released a single and it's doing really well. And now you have 5,000 people that are monthly listeners and you have 7,000 streams. Like for me, I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. But, there's no money that's like attached to any of this shit, like it's mind-boggling.
And that sucks. Does it feel like what the hell for?
And so many people rely on us in this time of need to like create and not that I'm slagging people who are like junkies for like consumption of Netflix, because I am one. But consumption of music, and it's just like, it's so, there's so many heartbreaking things going on in the world that it's like, oh my God, like can't even make a living from this, even though I'm trying so hard, and people have tried so hard at this streaming thing, and it's still just so impossible, you know? But people rely on you so much, and I love so much that they do, because it gives me like this purpose of like optimism in the world. But like, holy Moses, it's a hard go as a musician.
And it was hard enough to begin with.
Man, it was so hard, yeah. And it is continually hard. Like, it's never been easy. It has never been easy in 16 years of my life. Even the years that I was making some money, it was never easy, ever. It was rejection after rejection, people telling you that you're not good enough constantly, you know, people jumping ship after they realize that the piece of their pie is too small, and that you're not generating enough based on how you look and based on what you create. And I think that the most beautiful thing about all of this awareness and mindfulness that this virus has created for us, and this will probably bite me in the ass in the end, but it's like, we realize who it is that creates the industry. It is not the industry that creates the artist. It is the artist that creates the industry. And the promoters and the agents and the managers and all of those people that are feeling it so hard right now realize that the artists are still busting their balls to figure out a way to make a living, because they can't, because they have their craft and they've been honing it for centuries, because most artists are 1,000 years old. So cheers to that. Cheers to that, Rand. Bro, I don't even know how long that was. That was like 25 minutes.
7, but it's okay.
There's
on
so much truth
on live
in that,
TV. Though. On live TV, that is like 37 minutes.
Really? How is it? So actually, that's funny you say that. I want to know. So give us like a little behind.
Can I fill up my drink? Can I fill up my drink?
Yeah. Oh yeah, fill it up to the 9. Right? Because like I want to know what's the the behind the scenes, the good stuff. I want to know
of those CTV
of like live TV and like.
Right.
Yeah, so I was just telling Mark, like, I want to know the greasy gossip stuff, right? Like, what's going on before they start recording, like, on live TV? Like, it's
so
gotta be.
Let's go back for people that don't know Theresa. The people that do remember you from way back, might have been from Canadian Idol, right?
Do you still get a lot of that kind of?
Yeah.
So is that? We actually got a question from someone about this. Is Canadian Idol, was that something that helped propel your career, or was that just something fun to do kind of thing in hindsight then? Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jenny from the block.
Yeah.
She's still Jenny from the block. Used to have a little bit of love. Well, honestly, it's an impossible question to answer, because nobody really knows how I started from the very beginning. Like, this is going to be like a bit of a left turn, but I was a jazz singer, okay? Like, the most wholesome. I had a folk fusion band in. Shout out to my old folk fusion band in college, Fagoo, which, if anyone can find any of that on the internet, I challenge you to hear our prog rock folk fusion band that cleared out Reds in Edmonton every time we played.
Nice.
But nobody really knows that when I started on Idol, it's not because I tried out for Idol, okay? My oldest sister, dragged me kicking and screaming to a radio competition at the Odeon in Saskatoon. And it was one person won this competition, and it was a jump the line contest. So whoever won it, out of however many people showed up, would jump the line to the celebrity judges, okay? And there were 250 people that showed up at this thing. And I was like kicking and screaming. Like my sister did my hair and like pulled me out physically of the van. And I am not exaggerating. I was like, this isn't what I want to do. Please just don't make me do this. And I did it, and I stuck it out, and then I won. Out of 250 people, I won and then was propelled to the judges, the celebrity ones, the 4 ones.
Right. Yeah.
So there was no, like, there's so much of a screening process that normally happens. And I won this competition in like early April through C95. And it was something that I was not prepared for at all. Like I was not mentally prepared. I was older at that point. I was 23 years old. It's not like I was 16. But I was already trying to like carve out my own path as it was. But then that happened to me, and it was like the next thing you know, I'm next to Caleb Porter in the freaking finale. Like it was like that. And I had no plan. I had absolutely no plan. But of course, it propelled me. Of course, the competition propelled my career. I met so many slugs along the way, though. Like, so many people that just took advantage of me so much. Including like people that I trusted so much. And those are hard things to take. But like, this is what I'm saying about like rejection is the most important thing to like gain perspective and insight. And if you can, like, it's the long game that you have to kind of concentrate on. If you can really be mindful and not allow yourself to rush the rejection too soon, because rejection is inevitable. And if you're not being rejected in the music industry, then it's easy. It's too easy, and you don't have anything to write about anyways. So what's the fucking point?
Yeah,
like
right,
how
yeah.
can you come and try and gain perspective if you haven't had heartbreak, if you haven't had bankruptcy, if you haven't had like just immense grief? How can you even believe that you can process your emotions and have the responsibility as a songwriter to portray those to people? Like, that is like my biggest and most heart treasured skill in my life, is to be a songwriter. Like, that is just something that is ancestral and deeply inside of me. And the rejection that I have faced in the last 16 years, as heartbreaking as it is, it's just fucking fuel, baby. It's fuel. Yeah. It's fuel. And I cannot let that get me down, which is definitely showing in the sitcom that I've kind of told you guys about, and like Back to Reality. Back to Reality, baby.
Yeah, let's get into that, because for people watching, obviously, like we haven't said anything about it. So if you
and this is the first time. It's the first time that anyone's ever heard about it. So Back to Reality is
thanks for including us.
Well, it's big. No one's ever really asked me any questions about this. So like, I appreciate your interest so much. And I do have another podcast next week, though. So
ours is better, though.
I'm totally messing around. So Back to Reality is.
So there was a couple of the files you sent me I couldn't open for whatever reason.
What were they? Which ones? The audio?
No, I think it was 2. I don't know. It was like F and G or something I couldn't open.
Oh, that's
something
so
like that.
weird. Oh my God, that
F
worries
and
me.
G. But I got like I read what I could cover to cover, and I enjoy it. I'm intrigued, big time.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm
so
excited.
so Back to Reality is this sitcom that I've been working on for probably about 6 years, like honestly.
Holy
And
smokes!
no, I'm not kidding you. Like, this is the first time that I pitched to Insight. It was in 2014. And at that point, it was just an original sitcom with like regular actors. So I pitched, and it was like, I looked back on it and I was like, oh my God, like, how did I pitch this? But I was like, these people know me, they know my humor. I'll pitch it and I won't look back, But then I honed it for like 4 years, 5 years. And I was going to Toronto for a gig. And I was randomly sitting next to this guy named Tim Tyler, who works or who owns Cheshire Smile Animation in Saskatoon. And I got telling him about, how I've been, writing this sitcom, and how it's about this girl who moves back to her hometown after going through a reality TV scenario. And he was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm really intrigued to hear about this. And then, like, boom, 2 years go by and I'm still honing it. And then I called him out of the blue, just over a year and a half ago. And I said, look, we met on that plane. I told you about my idea. Here it is. It's still there. What do you think? And he
Did he
was like,
remember you?
he remembered me. Oh, for sure. Like, he knew who I
Yeah.
was when we had met on the plane. I'm not tooting my own horn. I mean, I'm a bit of a celebrity in Saskatoon. And he was right next to me. I mean, yeah. Anyways, he was just so over the moon that I had called him. And then things just started to snowball. We got this amazing artist, Elaine Will, here in Saskatoon, and she started to like come up with the concept of what the art would look like if it was animated. And of course, Back to Reality, here it is. It's a post-COVID animated musical situational comedy that's geared to people 19 to 99 years old. And it's in a world that's like flooded full of reality TV shows and TV personalities. It's loosely autobiographical. The girl in the series, her name is April Fool. I was born on April Fool's Day. She's got a lot of characteristics like me, but really what I wanted was like this female driven musical comedy, because I grew up so much with musical comedy. Like, I wanted to be Steve Martin. It's like a girl. And I thought it was just so amazing. And I don't think that it's ever really been done super, super well, because I know I'm a good singer and I know that it could be like really well received. And yeah, it's just a question of, money, timing. I've pitched to Netflix during the Canada Open Day, kind of pitched to Netflix, and I'm waiting to hear back from that. And 2020, baby, foresight, releasing singles. I'm back in the music biz. I'm just ready to just not be like bullied anymore. Like, just take power of my life.
That's right. Take control of it. 100%. Yeah. I think you're doing.
It's so hard when you've been bullied for so long, like, and it just like follows you around for so long. But once you start to realize like the reality of it, it's like it's pretty empowering, to realize who's good and who's not. And just, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So where did this might seem random, but where does this 7-year hiatus come from? Because you were in the music business until
Well,
20.
the 7-year hiatus, I suppose, I would say that my last release was 2013, and
Right.
I toured Canada with one of my best friends on violin, Michelle Rempel. Her and I toured from Charlottetown to Victoria
What's her name?
Michelle Rempel. She's,
That's not that political girl, is it?
no, she has a
Okay.
name.
Yeah, no,
Oh, maybe that's why it rang a bell.
She's actually,
You're thinking that political girl?
her name is actually Michelle Sabarin, but she married into Rempel. But she's like a fierce musician from Edmonton who I lived with in Toronto, and she and I drove across the country together in support of my last album, Prairie Winds, which I made in Spain. But because I made it in Spain, I paid for it by myself, and there wasn't any help from Canada because of that reason. But it was like it was a week in Spain. That's all it was.
Because you made it in Spain, Canada wouldn't help you. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's not really any funding that's available to like do much of that if you're already in it. And I was kind of semi living in Madrid at that point and had this opportunity to like record. It's not like I applied for grants or any of that stuff, but like I have 100% rejection rate for grant writing, like 100%. That's how bad I am at it. This sitcom, I got $10,000 from Creative Saskatchewan because Tim, my business partner, wrote it. Like, I just don't have the jargon for that, and I am such a bad self promoter. But this year, like with like I'm swearing off the bullying bullshit of my life, like I'm just so done with it. And that's why I really I'm finally realizing that this is like my true vocation. It's not something that I can't deny it, because it's like as deeply rooted as my ancestral ties to the earth. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. Yeah, for sure.
That sounds so dark. But really intense and awesome too. But yeah,
You don't get that in a 7-minute interview.
right? On a lighter note, our house is a beautiful single.
It is. It is
yeah.
so good. Like
I just stuck in my head all day.
Man, if I'm being honest, Theresa, when I hear you sing, even like your old stuff, Our House, like your voice will give me shivers. I see you on CTV News, and even that, like you might not have thought that audio was like to perfection or something like that, but like, man, like you've got a voice of an angel.
That's what
so
I'm
good.
saying about the vocational part of it, is that there are healing properties in it that I don't even, without sounding too crazy, I don't even have the ability to like give the prognosis of them. I just know that what comes out of me to the world when I sing has a healing property. And that is my goal, to just, I would love to have a good life monetarily, but I also know that in an earth that is grieving so hard right now, that this is my absolute destiny, and this is what I need to do to like try and help people through this grieving process, because it is huge. Like, let's not deny how huge it is. It has decimated our industry. Like, it has decimated it. Some of these not-for-profits will never come back. Like, it's heartbreaking. And what's, these forests that are burning down, and without getting too political, which I won't do, but it's a mentality that is just as bad as a forest fire, that I will, the children of this earth right now need us to be inclusive and loving and kind. And if I can do that with my music and be forced to do it, I can't deny the brevity of that. I just can't.
Right on.
It's hardcore, man.
Yeah.
That's good. That's there. We can definitely feel the passion in it and the sincerity that you've got. Like, you definitely mean what you say, and I agree with you like 100%.
Yeah.
In
Well,
everything,
that's
you're
awesome.
absolutely right.
Me too.
It's amazing to be here 16 years after all of this, like, weird, like, I keep coming back to rejection, but that's my reality in life. Like, like, I lost that competition, which was the best thing for me, but then, like, I kept on getting all these people telling me that it wasn't my true nature. And that's really hard.
But was that
To just,
also because
yeah.
you're, in essence, you're a jazz singer, right? That's how you got started.
Well, that's how I got started. I barely played guitar at that point. I had no kind of, I had no songwriting experience at that. The only person that spoke to me was Ella Fitzgerald. She was the only person that spoke to me. And I would notate her scats in my memory. And, like, I still can put on a tisket, a tasket, I lost my yellow basket. And I can do that whole scat with her. Like, I can, it's amazing when I'm listening to her. It's like she speaks to me greatly. And so there's that deep connection to jazz for sure. And it is so undeniable when I'm writing songs and when I'm creating melodies. It's like in me. Like, she is in my body.
Yep.
Like, if I could go to Herman's Jazz Club in Victoria and get on with some big greats and, like, scat my brains out, it would be apparent to the public. But I mean, I know that I could do that, like, I feel like it's been like a lot of years of, yeah, just trying to find myself and who I am as an artist. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because my roots are totally musically with jazz, but then there's, like, this huge Ukrainian folk, deep ancestral sadness too, like these Slavic melodies that will just break your heart. So there's also
Yeah.
that, which is marrying into my songwriting. And I don't know.
I saw on Spotify that you released is that Ukrainian
Yeah.
album in 2010?
Yeah.
So you obviously have a Ukrainian background.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up speaking
it-
Ukrainian. I went to Ukrainian school. That was, it was actually my first language until I started going to English school. And then my parents, I would have to learn English. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, they did their best, and then I lost the language, and then we moved to Saskatoon, and then I started to try and learn it again, and I never really learned it to be fully, like, I'm not fluent anymore. Like, I've lost it all. But it's like, there's so much ancestral trauma in the Ukrainian kind of, and nobody talks about it. And, like, I know for certain that my grandmother was a folk healer. My great grandmother was a folk healer in Ukraine and here in Canada. Once she moved to Canada, she actually, like, there's one story about my great grandmother that she cured someone of paralysis, which is crazy. Yeah.
Crazy awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
like,
Yeah.
it was this dude this was in Canada, somewhere in, rural Saskatchewan, not far from, like, Kenora or Yorkton. and the guy was digging a grave, and he jumped on the grave. No, he was shoveling the dirt into the grave, and his wallet was in his top pocket, and he bent over, and the wallet fell out in between the grave and the casket. So he had to jump down on the casket to get his wallet. And so he fished it out, and all was well. He covered up the grave, and then he went home that night and had supper, and then when he woke up in the morning, he couldn't walk. And so back then, you know, like, there's spirits and all sorts of crazy, awesome energies and all sorts of things, which I am a huge skeptic of, and I still like resist on all fronts because I'm just too kind of apprehensive about it. But yeah, they sent all of these doctors to the town to try and fix him, and it was in the end, to make a very long story short, it was in the end my great grandmother that they brought him to her house, and he walked out of her house.
Interesting.
Like, come on, right?
I know.
She would cure kids of like dog fears and like a plethora of ailments that my mom was a firsthand witness of. So like, I know that this stuff is like right here, you know, it's right here, all the places that it's supposed to be. But then I use my voice, and then I feel like better about it because I don't have to like cure people of paralysis, because that's just a lot of expectation, you know.
Hey, your voice is so good though, Theresa. It could potentially cure somebody from paralysis. That's how powerful I feel like your voice is.
Sometimes I feel, I feel like I get that reaction from people sometimes, you know, like if I can just take some grief away from people, that's, I was doing home care for about 8 months here in Saskatoon for a private company, and like home care, like level 3 kind of caregiver home care, which is like, you know, you're essentially like taking care of people to exactly what you think of, you know. It was 8 months of like just deeply connecting to people, and in their worst kind of states of mind. And that's like, life is just all about experience, you know. If you can just be empathetic and warm and loving, and I don't know, this world is not as bad as it seems, even though the news cycle is like, oh my god.
Yes, no, definitely. It's we talk about this on a few episodes, but I had gotten a message from one of the, I won't say who, but we'll say a news reporter, because I kept sending them like soft stories, right, like happy things and interesting things, right, and they had messaged me back, and they had said what the top 5 news stories would be, and like it was like the top 5, it was like fire and death and disaster, and it was just stupid. I still have that list, but and then number 5 was like the soft piece or whatever, like Funky Moose Records, you know, just a local record store.
That's like the reality that we're living in right now. Like that is it. And that's why we need to like look into our everyday life and just radiate that on a daily basis, because that's the only way that it's going to get any traction, you know. Like we can't rely on the media to give us feel good heart stories, because I'm sorry to say it, but this planet's on fire, you know, like it's dismal. And you know, people have children, you know, like this is real. And I don't know. I feel like it starts within us. It starts within us. It has to start within you. It has to be about being mindful when you go to the grocery store and when you do the most meaningful or meaningless things, you know. It has to start there. because that's our only hope.
What? Okay,
I'm
so
sorry,
when
I cut you off, Mark. I'm sorry.
No.
I cut him off all the time. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm
He's
used to it.
used
And I
to
feel like I've just been talking this whole time. I'm like, God.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
That's
So we don't have to. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
I wanted to know, like, okay, if you're not writing music or recording music or doing anything like that, just living a day in the life of you, what are you doing?
Oh God. Oh my God. Well, I've done, like, if I told you all the things I did today, you would just be flabbergasted.
Give her.
I baked bread. I fed my chickens. I took many walks. I mowed my lawn. I watered my garden. I separated my recycling. I made 3 meals. I vacuumed 3 rooms. I loaded the dishwasher twice. I made banana muffins. I made some tomato sauce. I instant potted some bone broth to make some chicken soup. I did 4 loads of laundry. I played 1 song on the guitar. That was awesome.
Okay, so
I
what
had
was the song?
just like a 30-second song. What was it? It was like an original, just like one. I watered my plants inside. I did 2 loads of laundry. What else did I do? I swept out the fire. I swept out the fire pit. Went over to my neighbor's to give him a loaf of bread. Like that's like half of the things I did today.
That's awesome.
And I managed to take a shit. But it was rushed and awful. And I don't even care if you put that in, and I'm filling up my drink. Oh my God! I made pierogies with my mom. I made pierogies with my mom.
Nice.
I made pierogies with my mom. How could I forget to tell you guys that? We made pierogies today. So that was the other big thing. Just potato cheddar with onions. Nothing fancy. But yeah. That's a lot of things.
Hell no. I don't know how to make pierogies.
You guys, I might have even done more things like that. I started to like take out the pressure washer to do some. Oh my God! Like you guys, you can't ask me that question. I do 100 million things a day, and it's agony.
I'm a little curious about the 30 seconds of guitar that you went to.
Do you guys want me to play you a song? Or do you guys do that?
Yeah,
or no?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe 100%. I could play Our House. Or no, maybe not Our House. Or an original.
How about, I don't know. What do you think about the theme song for Back to Reality?
Oh, I can't do that.
Oh no.
I watch you watch me walking, think you know my name, and think that we be talking, I think you play this game, I think that you can tell me what it is you think of me. Oh baby, let me tell you, this is my reality. Back to reality. And things are less than real than they seem. Back to reality. So mind your biz, get on wishes, 'cause I'm back to reality. Pretty good.
freaking awesome. I love that course.
Nice.
Oh my God, you guys.
And
You
I
can't
watched.
believe the songs that will come out of that ridiculous show. If it happens, like, it'll blow
Oh, it's gonna happen.
I hope
You're
so.
gonna make it happen. I know you will. I read those drafts and I'm just like, I love the opening scene too.
Did you see the cartoons that Elaine drew?
I did. I
It's
definitely
so
did.
good.
That's pretty much the only thing I saw, because I didn't have time to read the script.
Hey,
I heard the songs, and I saw the drawings.
That's all you need.
I'd watch it.
Right on.
I wanna be in it. Can I have a role in your cartoon?
Sure, guys. Oh my God.
It's awesome.
I just have to
you
figure
should
out how to
represent
make
that.
it, you know?
Part of the reality show or something, that where the main character is on a podcast that we host or something.
Yeah, you can put Funky Moose Records in there as the
Done.
Sweet.
I'm the executive producer and the creator. Fucking done. That's the beauty of supporting a show that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You bet. Yeah. Oh man, no, it was good. I was definitely the last 2 hours before I came here to start recording. Like, I read everything that I could open on all the files.
I hope you
enjoyed
like
it
the
a lot.
music too. I hope you like the music too.
Well, so like in the papers that you sent me, there was like some writing was in blue, right? And if I'm not mistaken, that blue writing was like some of the songs that were in there. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let me look through it.
Check
Yes.
the notes. Blue?
Completely.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. Now the
So
only
what I
difficulty
did
I
with
had.
beatboxing was one of the songs, but yeah.
Yeah. So like when I was reading it, that's where it was hard for me, because obviously I don't know how to interpret that into music.
No,
right?
and you know what? That's a good note, because that I should have changed the text of that other stuff now that I look at it. So good note. Yeah, no, definitely. That is not. You're right. Oh my God, I can't believe I let that slide. Nailed it.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, it was.
No, good note. That was an accident. See, this is what you learn from like pitching stuff, right? Like, I pitched to Netflix, you know, like, it's crazy.
So, okay, so
It's
yeah,
like
when
madness.
did you pitch to them? You said like Canada Day or
August 4th.
How does that work? How do you pitch a show to Netflix?
Let's hear
they
about that.
opened it up to Pitch Day 2020, Canada, just regular people. And it was open till August 4th, I think. And then the rumor that I heard was this guy like tried to like upload an entire film, like a terabyte of film to like the Netflix server, and then it crashed. But I don't know. I can't actually say if that's true or not. And then it completely crashed, right? So I submitted on August 3rd, and I got my thank you for submitting. We'll let you know by the end of August. And it's like, oh my God, they wrote me back. You know, it's like, this is Netflix. They're going to let me know. And it says either way. It says, we're going to let you know either way if it happens or not. Huh? And I was like, well, this is great, you know, because it's August 4th, 3rd. It was August 3rd. It was August 4th. And I got my application in, got the submission email, and I was so jazzed, so jazzed. And then this guy like crashed the site. And then I got really concerned, but my business partner at the time, Tim Tyler, he was like, no, it's because this guy crashed the site. Everything's okay. You know, you got your submission letter. You're all good. So then like end of August was coming, and I was like, oh my God, you know, what's happening? And like September is here. Like, oh my God, like mid-September. And like, here we are. And like, you do not understand the anxiety that goes along with something that's like takes you 6 years to make. And then you're just like waiting. And you don't have a job anymore. So the only thing you can do is like wait and bake bread and wash dishes.
Feed the chickens.
Take care of chickens and make pierogies and like clean your garage and like look for jobs, because I did look for jobs, and I think I found a serving job that will suffice to, oh my God, it's just like, you guys, it's like, it's agony waiting. Like, but
Okay,
we're
so on that letter you got back
sounding
from
it.
them, and the letter you got back from them, did they not say they would let you know either way at the end of August?
Yeah, and they still haven't let anyone know. And here we are.
But it's not.
Everyone is sitting here, like my friends, like tons of my friends have applied. My business partners applied for different things too, and like we're all just sitting in limbo in like this. They were obviously
Do you think they're going to say it's because of COVID?
Well,
They're going to
I'm
say it's
sure.
COVID related.
They were like inundated by people being super creative during COVID, right? Like that's the only way that I can compute it. Seriously.
Oh, they're going through all that footage of that guy that uploaded one.
Oh yeah, because that's not cool. If they're doing that, I would be actually mad. But I mean, I'm sure it was just like all these people that had time, and then once the press release said that they're going to take, you know, pitches from just regular people, it like completely crashed. Because there's so many good ideas out there. But I mean, there's, you know, back to reality is my life. So there's nobody that can like take that from me. There's no way that anyone can write the songs that I write for that song, for that series, you know? Like it's just, someone can steal the idea and that's perfectly fine, but no one can like authentically take my experience from me, which is really cool. And my songs are great. Like I hope, I know you heard them. Like you got to listen to Quarter of My Eggs Left, because that is hilarious.
Did you send that one? Because the only song that I got to listen to was the theme song.
Oh no, I sent Quarter of My Eggs. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't listen to that one. Oh. I will tonight for sure.
It's good.
Yeah?
You listened to it? Oh God, Mark listened to it. Yes.
I did.
It's good?
Oh yeah. This one goes out to all you ladies who feel the societal pressures of their service. Oh y'all. Boom, 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 boom. Young ladies, I am here to tell you something crazy. Everybody think you call you lazy. I'm almost 40. Old ladies give me pressure. They tell me that my eggs don't get any fresher. Like, come on. You gotta listen to it. I need to be a comedian, but I just don't have the balls to do it. Or the ovaries. Or the eggs. Segue. Oh my God, that was a sound bite if Donald Trump wrote it.
Sound bites.
Yeah. I was, you know, another thing I was thinking of too, it might not be my place, but in that script, like, because the comedy aspect in the show, what do you think of, like, what's that comedian's name from Tisdale? Brent Butt?
Oh, yeah, he's like into corner gas. Yeah, no, I've trust me on that. I got that in the back burner stuff, kind of. It's not like you can't approach it from the front. You have to go from the rear,
the back door, which
is like Virginia Thompson. She's the producer of that, and hopefully she'll see some. You know, like the thing is that. With reality TV, there's like this stigma that's attached to you that you might not be good, you know, that there's not. It's all just about the timing, you know. I feel like they'll get it at some point. And if not, I still have the Spotify stuff. Like Jesse has been so amazing, and Trevor Case, they've all been so great. Like Dan Clapson, who's like from Eat North, who's helping me get my press out there, because I'm just like this one woman show, right? Like the only reason why I had a press release go out was because a buddy of mine who hired me for Prairie Grid through Eat North, he's just like, Theresa, like, you're so pathetic. Like, can we freaking help you?
Eat North.
Yeah.
I read something this afternoon. I think it was on Eat North about you.
Yeah, I'm playing a gig tomorrow night Tomorrow night. I don't know when this airs, but I'm playing a
Monday.
gig.
Well, when this
So-
gets on air Monday, so it
I'm
would have been 2
playing
days
a
ago.
gig 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
No, but he, like Dan, I really want to get a big shout out to Dan Clapson because he's just like someone in the industry that wants to help artists, young artists, get their name out. And he has the facilities to do that by the contacts that he has in his roster. So he sent out like a legitimate press release, which really created a buzz for me to like do interviews and just help along the process of what Jesse and I are doing. It's so amazing, you know, like we're just doing cover songs, but it's like really generating a lot of listenership. But I hope that people follow me, you know, like there's 4,000 people monthly listening to me on Spotify now, but I still only have 260 followers. So if I'm going to make a business out of this, if there's any potential for me to make money in this real world, like I have to like step on up into that reality. But we have 3 more releases coming, and then I'm going to release some original stuff and see how people, you know,
Respond to it.
totally, man.
I do have another question.
I have
too.
nothing
So,
to lose, right? Like I'm so old at this point. It's like,
oh come on now, we're all the same age here. So if you're calling yourself old,
but
I'm the oldest one.
I mean specifically in the business as a female artist. Right. Like I'm just like, and not that I'm like, I think that like I already talked about this earlier in the podcast, but like the biggest misconception is that we're making money doing this, you know, like the independent artists, like people that have already legitimized their platform are obviously making money. But like us tiny peeps, like indie artists, which I am and have always fucking been proudly. I had a label for about a snip and it was a nightmare. And I am so I don't make a goddamn cent making music. Like I really don't. I haven't for years, which is appalling, right?
Yeah, that sucks. Well, dude.
And I just looked at myself when I went, because I was like, what does that face look like? Oh my God,
I'm curious on. Okay, so like, if you're gonna record a cover song, is there like any hoops you have to jump through before you get like permission to do that? Or
it's actually really easy to do now, and Jesse Brown has really helped me on that platform and has done all of the kind of legwork behind the scenes. But DistroKid is a super self-explanatory site that just like allows you to get it out on every platform you could imagine within like one self-contained thing, which I used to do through TuneCore. And you know, I wish I could put it into perspective for people. Like my royalty check for SoCan was less than $1,000 last year, and I get paid quarterly, so that's condensed. Like I made $1,000 with SoCan, and then for like MRock, which records royalties on a quarterly for us and collects for musicians, like I was making maybe $60 per quarter. That's pretty embarrassing, right? Yeah, that's appalling. Yeah. And like, it's no wonder that I had to bust into, you know, like making contract work happen with festivals and just, you know, providing for my family. But it's like, it's not what people think it is what I really want to get across.
Right.
It's like, it's so much more difficult than that. And then people are like, oh, play this house concert for me for like $300. And you're like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah.
So you're doing these covers now, and you said you're gonna come up with some original stuff. What kind of music is that gonna be? Is that
I mean it's like it's in the same, no, it'll be in the same vein that I've been writing for kind of prairie winds too. Like 2013, I came out with a folk record. It's kind of more like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting more into my voice, so that's really nice. It'll be just a lot more free if I ever have the money to record an album, but I'm not there yet, you know? Like I can't be so flippant and just do that. It's not within my realm of possibilities right now. Like I'll just release some singles and like try and generate some income, and if it doesn't happen, then I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I have a job lined up for November, so, but it's a serving job, so whatever. I've been a server for almost half my lifetime, you know. I'm all right with that.
How much money does it take to like record an album?
I guess it depends.
I know it all varies, but like a ballpark figure, would it be like 10 grand, 20 grand?
Yeah, I would say the least I've spent is like 5 grand. But that's really badly done, and you know, I regret that. But I tried to do a live album in that realm to release it of songs I'd already done, and it was a nightmare, right? So the one I did in Spain, I think I did for like 12.5, and it was like a week in Madrid with like all these incredible Madrid musicians. But like to do that in Canada, I don't know how much that would have been. And then I got it mastered there as well, so it was like within that 12.5 kind of mark. But yeah, I didn't get any funding for that. I just spent that all from my own pocket. And then, you know, I worked on ships for a while as a cruise ship musician. Like that would
have been fun. I bet you got some stories on that.
Oh my God, you
Come
guys.
on now.
Oh my God, I have so many stories. You would we're at the hour mark, and like,
we have time. Forget about the hour.
You do not want me to talk about cruise ships. Like absolutely no. Let's do a 2-parter where it's just like me talking about cruise ships. Because I could fill 45 to 55 minutes of my time on cruise ships. It's like,
that's awesome.
It's a trip as a musician. Like I played 4 hours a day. As an acoustic guitar player, like I developed such intense tendinitis. I did that for 10 months, every day for 10 months, except when I got GI, which I was quarantined to my cabin for 2 weeks. Like, oh my God, you guys. And I don't think, yeah, I got stories about cruise trips.
Tell us one, at least one story.
Well, yeah, how about this? Let's end tonight's with one story of a cruise ship, so that we can get them back for when you come back on the show and we can talk more about it.
Yeah.
Well, did I hit all my points though? Okay, so Our House came out September 4th. It's been 2 weeks today since Our House came out. And
hey, you were saying that you had 4,000. What was it? 4,000 listeners.
You
on
guys,
Spotify
I checked before I did this podcast, and before Our House came out, I had 204 monthly listeners. Okay, and then Our House came out, and now today I have 4,753 monthly listeners because of the Folk and Friends editorial playlist ad, and it's like over like 7,500 streams. It's like really awesome. And it's because of Jesse Brown and Trevor Case and like Simon Yasenik from Bees Knees Recording helped us get those vocals out. The next releases are coming out. The next release will be Let It Go, which is like a version of Louis Capaldi's song. And it'll be October 16th when that comes out. And the next 3 recordings are really live off the floor, where Jesse and I just recorded live in his living room, and they're full takes, you know. There's no editing involved in that. That's just straight up, full on,
Real.
real.
It's real.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. And yeah, and then like you'll have to wait to see what the other releases are. But a cruise ship story. Oh my God. There's so many. Okay, here's one. It was 5:00 and we were going through a 3-day cruise of like the Victoria Islands, because it was like on a rerouter before we picked up Alaskans to go to for Alaska cruise. There's like this weird rerouter where you go through the Gulf Islands or whatever. I don't even freaking know. But I showed up for my shift and it was 5:00 and I usually played 5 till 9:45 with like breaks in between. And so I showed up for my 5:00 shift with my music stand, because you need a music stand. Like, you can't play from memory. You're playing like 150 songs a day, you know? I put up my book. At that point, I was still playing from a binder of like laminated sheets. Oh my God. That's so fucking hilarious. And so this is so crazy, you guys. I'm sitting there playing. I'm plugged in. I'm ready. I'm playing. Like, I wish I could remember the song that I was playing, and my freaking stand is like falling over. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And the boat is listing. Like, I'm not kidding. I can see the freaking sky from one side. And we're listing hard, and everything's crashing down my freaking everything. Like, there's bottles, aquariums, like everything. And I'm on the ground like a prairie girl from nowhere, like shitting my absolute pants, my music stand, my guitar stand, everything. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? The world is ending and we're in the Gulf Islands. And then they straighten out slowly and the boat starts to come back. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like starting to pack up all my stuff. And I'm like, I'm out. Like, this is it. I pack my stuff up, pack up my music stand. I get out. I go back to my cabin and they call me back and they're like, where are you? I'm like, are you kidding me? The boat tipped over. And they're like, you're supposed to be playing right now. And I'm like, I shit my pants. Like, you can't expect me to go back to work right now. I legitimately crapped in my pants. Like, I thought we were all going to die. But that was like when I was so green at sailing that I didn't realize like the capacity of boats. And like, it was just like what had actually happened was the captain was going straight for land and like realized, oh my God, I need to take this turn. But oh my God, you guys. Oh. That's like,
yeah, you just about
not even
hit land.
That's not even the best of my story. It's like this tiniest, smallest, best of the stories.
Well, promise us that you will come back, please.
Yeah, you guys.
How about when you come back in October when after the 16th when the next song comes out?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Well, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You know, by that time, I mean, the sitcom might have taken off. No,
yeah, you're gonna be too good to come on.
Oh, right? There's no way.
I'm really famous now.
Yeah,
First I was on Canadian Idol.
Yeah, now I'm making money, guys.
That's so funny.
Just snub us.
I'm getting better at talk promotion, I suppose, if I'm feeding you guys that toxin. You know. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Maybe the I got fruit flies, you guys. Like, seriously.
Oh, what are you drinking there? I never did ask you what you were drinking.
I'm not telling. Fruit flies.
Fruit flies.
Oh.
There you go. Crunch.
The life of
it was a real pleasure,
right
you darling people. I hope some of it is usable.
Thank you so much for coming on. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're not cutting anything out.
We're using it all, baby.
Yeah, well, I hope.
All right. We will we'll say bye to our viewers.
I got all of my.
Thanks again,
I did talk about Dan Clapson, right? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm good. If you guys are good, I'm good.
Right on.
I didn't play a song.
All right. On that note, see you guys next week. Thanks, Theresa.
Smell you later, dude.